Welcome to Life Lessons for a Time Such as Now. How are everybody?
We're
We
good.
doing good.
We're wonderful.
Crystal?
Thank God.
I'm doing
Joanna?
well.
Nice. Well, we have a guest in the house, ladies, and welcome, Miss Aisha Daniels. Nice to see you, girl.
Hi.
Aisha.
Nice.
Welcome.
And
Thank you very much.
and so, of course, please like and subscribe. Like and subscribe and share. Make sure you share. You're in tune for a doozy tonight or today, whatever part of the world you're in, but we welcome you. All right. And so today we're going to be discussing a topic that I'm sure we all can agree we can have some good feedback on. Healthy versus unhealthy relationships. What's the difference? All right. So ladies, be pondering on that. I see you, Crystal, going to All right. So yeah, I think that it's kind of nice that we can have a little bit of a reprieve from our daddy's little girl one, right? Because it probably kicked up some stuff about how, that healthy versus unhealthy relationship balance starts out where we agree it kind of starts at home with the daddy, right? And so I'll just begin by saying, that in my travels, I've learned that I kind of landed on, I don't think by accident, this is my niche, like, healthy versus unhealthy relationships. And being in the field of domestic violence and abuse and understanding what that means for providing services for a community as a clinician and a therapist, that is like where I really, the hair stand up on the back of my neck, if you will, because I get excited about seeing people's lives change because there is a difference, right? And when we discuss it in terms of treatment and therapy, there's a lot of people that really think that they're in healthy relationships. And that's what we want to explore tonight. So I'm excited about having our guest on today. I'm going to introduce her and let her say a couple of things. It's a little special for me because I've been told not to say nothing. So I mean, if she want to say it, then it's on her. Okay, I'm leaving it at that. So without further ado, ladies, I'm going to introduce to you Ms. Aisha Daniels as our guest. Aisha, to the platform of Life Lessons for a Time Such as Now.
Well, thank you for having me first. This is a very important topic. I feel like you said, people think that they are in healthy relationships, but in all actuality, they're really not. So when you learn the difference, it can definitely help you leave a relationship, whether it be a spouse, friendship, whatever it may be. So I think a lot of people need to understand and really know the true definition of healthy versus unhealthy.
Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Yeah, well said.
A little bit about me. Well, my name is Aisha, obviously. I am 33. I have 4 children. I was definitely in a very unhealthy relationship that I thought was kind of healthy. Towards the end of it, I started realizing that this is not okay. I am now in a very healthy relationship. Obviously, everyone has ups and downs, but the core of the relationship is very positive and healthy. So now that I'm in this relationship, I definitely see where the unhealthiness or maybe the red flags were in the last one. And it's definitely a difference, very big difference in the way I'm treated, spoken to, the way my kids are handled, all of it. So yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Well, ladies, I'm going to open up the floor to this topic because I feel that we all have a very extensive background, but wealth of knowledge. And let's speak about that. So what do you think about that, Joanna? Healthy versus unhealthy relationships?
Well, I think learning unhealthiness when it comes to starts young, okay? Because it starts with your parents. And none of us are perfect. None of our parents are perfect. And started with little things like, girl, get your A over here. You know, in our generation, it was easy to curse our children out or get cursed out by our parents. You
Mm.
know, that was a form of unhealthy relationship. And it's we would learn that. So let's say growing up, there might have been things I could have said to my children that was unhealthy. So they take that and they grow from that to making it normal when someone enters their life and that person is unhealthy verbally, mentally, physically. And the thing is, a lot of people, just because you don't get hit, don't mean you ain't being verbally abused.
Mhm.
Okay. And a lot of that also comes from mental illness
Mhm.
and lack of patience. And of course what you was taught, you know, and I've seen so much with mental illness, I would say lately, that it's hard to tell the difference that this person is ill or this person's either lack of patience or where did they get it from, you know, how do it. And the thing is, us trying to fight it as a community, you know, is a hard task. And I think this forum that we're on right now, actually getting each of our opinions and thought process and life experiences helps somebody out there. If it doesn't, even if it helps one person, you know, to me, that is a good thing. Um, I have to tell this story, share this story that I had one time that I have. I went to see what do them people call a reader, somebody to, you know, that says, hey, you know, look forward to this and this and this and that.
Mhm.
So I thought the lady was really good. Yeah, psychic. And I thought she was really good. So she worked out of her house. So I went over so I took my daughter there and she went over, we went in her house. She took my daughter in a separate space and I'm downstairs. They had a little girl, had to be 4 years old, maybe 5. She was able to talk, you know, but she wore a diaper, whatever. But then the girl goes upstairs and you can hear her mother, a younger girl, you know, yelling like, get your A over here. You done crapped on yourself. Like, forget that you got somebody in your house, strangers in your house. Forget. And the little girl, you know, was like, oh, I hate you. And she's only, I swear, 3, 4, 5, no older than that. And so, of course, when I heard that, I'm like, how can you tell me something when you can't, your whole household is up in the raw? You know what I mean? So
Wow.
we got out of there quick. I'm like, you will not see this person no more because we can't. One thing I also learned that we cannot always help home. And what's home? Our children, our husbands, our sometimes what, you know, us communicating, what we're communicating helps somebody else.
Mm.
Sometimes you can't reach that loved one that you
Mhm.
want to reach, that you
Mm.
know, okay, you're in an abusive relationship, but you need to get out of it, you know, or you tell your kids or your daughters, even your sons, like,
Mhm.
this person, the person that you're with, you know, if they're calling you out your name, you know, things like that, then that's not good. That's
Right.
abuse.
Right.
You understand? So
Right.
it's like, see the red flags and don't ignore them. But
Right.
if you've been raised, you know, by someone constantly cursing you out and, you know, that's all you know.
Right.
You know, that's all they know. And healthy relationship, excuse me, look at it, I'm at the strip club, healthy relationship. Anyway, healthy relationships, um, it feels good inside. You know what I mean? It helps you, your energy. It brings out the good in you. That's how you know you're in a healthy relationship. You can
Nice.
still
Wow.
have arguments,
Absolutely.
you can have disagreements, but there's a line you won't cross and to
Right.
make it unhealthy.
Wow.
Now
Stay
that's a
strong.
really good point right there.
That's a
You just
strong J moment. Strong
yeah,
J.
Yeah,
Well
she just hit the hammer on the
said.
nail with that
Well
one.
said. Mm-hmm.
Well
Yeah,
said.
for sure. Yeah, for sure. And just to speak on that, the person that I was in a previous relationship grew up in a very hostile household. So they were constantly being spoken to very negatively, like, you know, no positive reinforcement, no encouragement. It was always mean things being said. And now that I'm older and I understand me better, I look at that person now and I'm like, I feel sorry for you because this is what you was taught. And he's not at the point where he's ready to change that about himself. A lot of times it's very hard to look in the mirror. People struggle with that. It's extremely hard. And because he's not willing to do that, he hasn't made any type of changes. It's not any growth. So at the time, I didn't really think it was that bad. You know, you start to think, oh, well, this person loves me. This person acts like this because they love me. And it really is abuse. It's definitely psychological abuse. And I stayed in it for so long because I thought that it was okay. It took for me to have my daughter to realize that this is not okay. No, doesn't matter what I do, what I say, being spoken to this way, being treated this way is not okay. And if this person really, truly, truly loved me, he would see how his actions and words affect me and want to change it. So then it was time for me to make a decision. It's either you or me, and I have to choose me first. So
Absolutely.
you know, it's definitely taught. It's definitely how you were raised, how your household was conducted, for sure.
Right. And where does that come from? That comes from taught behavior, right? It's taught behavior.
Definitely.
And so our last episode, you know, we were talking about Daddy's little girl. And, you know, one of the things that we discussed was, you know, that first contact with a man sets the tone. It sets the tone, right? For what is a healthy or unhealthy relationship. It sets the tone. And so I believe, and I agree with all you ladies, like I definitely agree with everything that you guys said. You know, I guess you didn't even leave any meat on the bones for me to talk, right? Me and Chris got left out with
I know, right?
you know, but you know, for me, what is healthy is your perception of what healthy is. And again, it is, you know, how you were raised. You know, that's the base. I also feel that, and I think Joanna was talking about it. So if I don't feel good in my soul, it ain't healthy.
It's not right. Yeah.
My mind is all jacked up after I leave you, it ain't healthy. And that means, it doesn't mean whether or not it is a man, woman, family, friends. If my nerves have to be bad, it ain't healthy. If we can't respect each other's boundaries, it ain't healthy. Right? Because it's about respecting one another. It's about creating these boundaries, right? Like, I don't want to hurt you, and I don't want you to hurt me.
Right.
And so we're going to, you know, figure this thing out so that we can respect each other's space. And a lot of times, and we're so caught up in it, it's almost like quicksand. Like, before you know it, you all up in it, right? All up in it. Not even realizing you got swooped in for an unhealthy relationship.
Right.
So before you know it, you're now that, you know, dysfunctional. You're now dysfunctional because before you know it, it was all nice and pretty, right? And I'm saying, you know, any relationship across the board. I'm not even just talking about men.
Right.
And then all of a sudden now, you know, it's not that way. And so I think that we have to identify what we consider healthy and unhealthy.
Well, that's where I'm at, because you pretty much know my story. And I love the fact that, Joanna, when you kicked it off, you said that it starts at home, right? Because everybody that knows anything, this is not a secret about the abuse that I suffered from my mother, right? And so as a result of that abuse, not knowing psychologically, like I love what Daisha said, that in the home, I was kind of being framed and shaped that way. So then it was kind of, you know, okay although I may have started out as a very docile and innocent and very caring and giving, type of young, little girl I'm talking about. But because of all of the abuse that I took all the way, up until almost adulthood, I mean, 18 is considered adult, um, that that began to be that tape that played, you know.
Mhm.
So it's very difficult to get away from, like, hearing that you're nothing, hearing that, and then you meet or go into a relationship. And I love that, Tracy. Like, it could be friends, family, whoever, right? And you begin to see that every household, basically, I always said, you go in, you being abused in some type of way, right? If it's emotional, and it's not by chance that that's my niche and that's what I landed, right, in terms of a purpose and where I do for occupation. But there are 5 components of domestic violence and abuse, and it is everything that Joanna names. It's emotional, psychological, um, and then it's verbal, then it's financial, it's
Mhm.
sexual, then it's physical, right? And so when you find that you are moving through life in some of those places that you hear what Tracy is saying, like, that you have to, sit with yourself, and I think that by now, like, I love it that, Daisha mentioned her age. It took me to be like almost, I remember I was 30 years old and I finally was like, no more, like I didn't even know how to say no. You know what I mean? Because of the psychological and emotional abuse, and being trained that way, and being, like, this is the way I'm supposed to respond, and that I found out later on, that's not healthy. Like, none of it was healthy, right? None of it was healthy. None of it made me out to be a healthy person. Because really, when you talk about how you sit with yourself, that's how I began to also respond. I responded that way, versus being healthy. So my unhealthy behavior became my response to being treated in that way, right?
Mhm.
So you treat me unhealthy, then I only have nothing but unhealthiness to give to you. Until I learned the difference, then you hear me, Chris? That's how I was
Yeah.
able to switch it, to make the switch in my mind.
Right.
There is a versus, right? There's unhealthy that I was and I was being treated as, versus how do I now act like now for 20 something years, right?
Well, that's right. And all of that we're saying, I'm glad, because in our community, we don't take mental health, well, we didn't take mental health seriously. So going to a psychiatrist, was not the norm for us. Either you was just considered crazy or whatever, terms and slogans that we use, instead of getting the help that we needed. So I am glad today that this is now on the forefront, mental health issues. And then we speaking about things starting from the home. If you're told that you're dumb and stupid all the time, that's the same tape that keeps replaying, in your mind over and over and over again.
Right.
And hurt people hurt people. So
Mhm.
somewhere down the line, whoever is inflicting this pain, the pain came from somewhere else, and it has never been resolved.
Wow.
And then you have this vicious cycle keeps going and going and going and going until somewhere someone has to break the chain or break the cycle, if you will.
Right.
So yes, you have all kinds of abuse, just like Joanna said,
Right.
and I don't know what abuse is the worst, physical or mental abuse.
Well, I know we're getting into abuse, but it's really because it doesn't necessarily have to be abuse with healthy versus unhealthy. It doesn't have to be. It's, because you can tie it in to all, I mean, all of that really plays a part together, right?
Mhm.
All of it plays a part. But what is your take on what's healthy and what's unhealthy?
Right.
Right.
So that's
For me,
that's my point.
your relationship, with whomever may not be considered healthy to me, but then to you, it may be healthy, right? So how do you define
Well, how?
healthy versus
Well,
unhealthy?
that's what I was getting to. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
Because all of that stuff plays into the relationship. Rather, it's, what makes it healthy and what makes it unhealthy. You know what I mean? All these things that we were talking about shapes our relationships. And sometimes, like Daisha said, we keep making these excuses. I think as women, that's what we do, because we want to make it work. So in our minds, even though we know deep down inside that this is not a healthy relationship to be in, we continue to be in this relationship because we want to make it work until we say, hey, that's enough.
Right. And I
We're
like
not
that.
going to do this
And
anymore.
can we ask Daisha that? Because she did mention that, right? And so why would you say, that now I know? What is the difference? What made you say, like, now I know?
Once I had my daughter, it changed the perspective of everything for me. I had to really sit back and look at, like, remember how I felt in those moments when I was being called names or being physically abused and being talked down. And I know that for her, I don't want her to feel that way. So it became a thing where it's like, this can't be right if I'm feeling so negative and I'm being so protective of her and making sure that she never feels like this. So it took a couple of years because I had to build myself back up to be able to leave it. But once I had her is when it clicked in my head, this is not okay. And different aspects, not just in the relationship with family, with friends, is things that I never want my daughters to experience. So I had to make changes. But it had to start with me first. You have to build that courage, that you have to build your self-esteem back up. I was 3 kids in, so I was always told no one will ever want you with 3 kids. So that was in my mind. And like you said, it played over and over and over in my mind. And I'm like, I can't do this. I can't work, take care of 3 kids by myself. I want to have somebody to love on me. Right. And once I got that courage and I believed in myself, and I was just like, well, you know what? If no one wants me with 3 kids, so be it. But I'd rather be alone with myself than be in this. And my kids are watching, they're hearing it. I'm, stressed out, losing weight, not eating, all of this stuff. And then come along, that wasn't the truth. Then I got with someone who embraced my 3 kids. So that was like the confirmation for me, right, that this person who I was with was just broken. They wanted me to be just as broken as they were. And now that's not the case. I am with someone who have 3 kids, and we have a blended family, and he loves my kids just like as if they was his own. He takes care of them. He shows up for them, encourages them. Everything a father is supposed to do for a child, he does. So that's how that was the real confirmation for me. This man is tripping, pretty much.
And I,
Yeah.
I like what Daisha. Oh, I'm sorry, Joanna.
No, I just want
to say something to Daisha. I commend you for saying that, because we are our girls' first examples. You know what I mean? So I applaud you for saying that. I'm sorry, Joanna, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I wanted to pretty much say the same thing. Like, kudos to you. And we too, as individuals, do you see yourself being, let's say, different, say, towards his kids? Because you spoke about how he loves your kids and your blended family, but do you think you're a positive impact? And I'm sure you are.
For sure.
His kids.
For sure. He has 1 child, a little girl. And from the day that I met her, it was love. She loves me, I love her. Just like how I show up for my kids, I show up for her just the same. It's no difference. And in our household, it is no difference. They are all our children. So yeah.
So you don't have baby mama drama?
No, not actually, me and baby mama is really cool.
Nice.
We do family stuff together. We're great together because it's a level of respect. She knows that I'm not overstepping. I'm just a bonus.
Right.
Right.
you know? So
Oh,
I
I
don't
love it.
overstep the boundaries of what her mother says, but I also like I reinforce what her mom said.
Right.
You know, like
Nice.
it's a healthy co-parenting situation, which is amazing because you know it's so many everyone has baby mama and baby daddy drama. That's just the way it is now. So because it's not like that, it's amazing. And the kids get to see healthy relationships
Right.
Right.
in
Right.
all
And that's the
aspects
most important
between
thing.
yeah, between him and I, they see a lot of love, a lot of encouragement, showing up, you know, doing nice things, all of it. They see that. So yeah, maybe before their perspective of what a relationship should be was negative, but we've completely changed the dynamic of that now.
Nice.
They see
Right.
that you can, if in the world, you know, just by chance they end up having children with someone and they don't stay with that person, they now see what a healthy co-parenting relationship is. You know, we celebrate birthdays together. We talk on the phone when we need to. It's really positive. So I think it's a big difference
Yeah.
from before for sure.
That's
Mhm.
good. And I know, and
Yeah.
I can relate to that, Daisha, because I was once in a relationship with a blended family, and that's what we did as well.
Yeah.
And to this day, those girls call me mom,
Right.
you know, and I think,
That's
you know,
amazing.
from maybe about 14 to 15 years old, you know, and I was in
Mhm.
their life for a while. Until this day, we still get together and do things together. So the kudos
Amazing.
again. It can
Thank
work.
you. Thank you. It definitely can work. It's an adjustment for everyone, especially when they're not used to it. But when you put in the work and the time and you really stick to the goal, like you plan it out correctly, you stick to what you really want, it's a possibility. It can happen. And for us, it wasn't an easy road, you know. Um it was difficult in the beginning because my children were never used to being around anyone else.
Mhm.
So they had to get adjusted. And he came from just having one child to now having four.
Right.
Right.
So
Mhm.
it was an adjustment, but the time was definitely put in the quality time, the conversations, the opening the doors to be able to express how everyone felt was always there.
Right.
So we worked on it and it's great now. It's great.
And I
Right.
think us coming from the era of the child is seen and not heard, which is a different dynamic about the way, you know, that I'm fortunate to have a 23-year-old. So I've kind of been able to see like the difference in the era of how we raise our children. And I think that if we speak to a healthy upbringing and healthiness and what that means, because I too had to do the blended thing, you know, with my daughter. And that situation I found myself in that really shaped me on how to be really healthy. Because at the time, my ex-husband and I were not healthy and it was a versus unhealthy. And so being able to blend the family, you know, I think with those skills you learn that and you're
Mhm.
able to enforce that and show the difference, you know, like you're gonna show up and you're gonna smile, you know, whether you like it or not, you know what I mean? And you're gonna say, "Good job," you know, and everybody's gonna be at the dinner together. Tracy one time was with me and she was like, "Renee, I don't know how you do that." But you know, and I took a whole Thanksgiving over there at dinner and everything with the trimmings, even the cranberry sauce. And it was like, God bless you, you know.
Did you drop names while you was over there?
No, but you know, it teaches you how to be healthy because we didn't have you know, we talked about, you know, what that looks like in a lot of our episodes in our speaking out about some of these very touchy topics and stuff because it is, you know, Courage to Change, you know, Enrichment Center was birthed out of that. You know, my therapy life was birthed out of that, was
Mhm.
understanding what that means to be unhealthy and to have to live that every day through trying to be that for my children, right? To being
Mhm.
healthy. And I slipped up and I messed up all the way up. You know what I mean? All the way up, from all the way down, you know, because I didn't have the right constructive, you know, building the process of what that really meant
Mhm.
for what healthy looked like, you know.
Right.
And I
Well,
remember that
yeah.
last time that I ever physically scolded and hit one of my oldest child. He was 6 years old, and I had to learn from a friend back then That's not healthy, right?
Right.
That's not the way we treat children, right? And I really did not know, right? Because in my whole life, everywhere I went, that's what the message was. You know, take your clothes off, strip, get wet, we're gonna whip you, you know? And, you know, I
Oh,
didn't do that to
don't
my
say that
son.
too loud on here.
No,
Girl.
I'm just saying that's the
Well,
era,
can I?
that's the era we was raised up in, and we didn't know no better, so we turned around and did it to our children. Well,
Well,
that
can I
was the
just say this?
last time that I ever hit one of my children, was
Mhm.
when, you know, when she told me that.
To say this, that you obviously parenting is, there's no handbook to it, so you're pretty much learning as you go. With each child is very different, but in my honest opinion, you know, I think that you're the greatest, and I date your son. Okay, one day I hope to be his wife, and he is caring, sweet. He's tough, but he is amazing, and I tell you that all the time. Like, thank you, Mom, because you created such a great man. So
Thank you.
even though you may have made some mistakes, you still did an amazing job,
Aw.
especially with that one. And Corinne, of
He's
course, you know,
awesome.
all of them, but you know, I date this one, so I
Like,
get
Of
a
course.
little bit
so you
different.
biased,
You know,
right?
I get all
Biased,
the
yeah.
perks of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
get all the
awesome.
perks
Yeah.
of the loving,
So-
and yeah, you did good.
Thank
You
you.
definitely did good.
Mhm.
Tracy, you had something?
So,
I heard you.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you, babe.
I was doing a double dutch. I was
Double
trying to-
Dutch, double Dutch, double Dutch.
So,
Yeah, you guys, me too.
So that's okay. No, that's okay. Because this is what it's about, right? We just all just jump in when you can. So, so
Yeah, when you can.
just for me, because I don't really, have too much on it, because I think everything that we're saying is our definition of what healthy and unhealthy is. I started looking at it because of, sometimes when you're not aware that you're unhealthy, right? And then you start seeing that light. I started looking at it like food, clean food, right? Vegetables. They tell you eat the vegetables, this, that, and the third, because if you eat clean, they always tell you got all this energy, you're happier, right? All this energy, happier, you sleep better. All these good things comes with clean eating. However, unfortunately, like me, sometimes, I struggle with eating. So when I got the, the cakes and the pies and the, and the lasagna and carrying on, I feel sluggish, sad, a little miserable, because it's heavy. It's not clean eating. Some of it is processed. So I kind of really relate healthy and unhealthy relationships like that.
Wow.
Right? So, good in, good out. Bad in, bad out.
Nice.
And I had to really, relate that, in my healing and my deliverance from having unhealthy relationships. I don't have a problem disconnecting
Come on.
from unhealthy people, because it is contagious. It's like a cold. And so I know that I struggled with certain things in my life, and I know that it caused me to be unhealthy. And so therefore now I'm aware of my surroundings. Like, oh, wait a minute.
Go back.
Do I feel anxious? Do I feel like my nerves is bad? Do I feel like because if I do, I have to start looking like, wait a minute, hold on. Because if this doesn't bring good things to me, then I gotta let it go.
Right. Yeah, that's
And
it.
that's my definition of what healthy versus unhealthy is.
I love
And
it.
that was
I
a
love
good
it.
one.
So say that
good
one more
Mhm.
time.
That
If
was-
it's not what, then I gotta
If
let
it's-
it go.
Right. If it's not good for me,
Okay.
if it's not good for my spirit, good
Right.
for my mind,
Right.
good for my heart and my soul, good
Right.
for me physically,
Right.
that I can wake up and go, oh, what? Joanna, Aisha,
Yeah.
Right.
I can't
So-
do that. If I go, Aisha, it's a problem.
Right.
Because that means
Love
that
that.
you're not bringing something positive to my life. You're actually taking from me.
Wow.
Right. And if you're taking from me, then I have to ask myself and question myself,
Mm.
should you be there?
Nice.
Mhm.
And I know sometimes people go, "Oh, Tracy, you're too quick." And I know Renee, before you said that, like I don't have a problem letting people
Right.
go.
Right.
Sometimes you have to really even debate people on it because they don't understand it because they're used to your norm. They're
Right.
used
Right.
They
Mhm.
used to that unhealthy. Right.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
But you're the one unhealthy. Oh, why
Right.
can't you forgive them and still hang out with them?
Right.
No.
I can forgive them. Right. I can
Right.
forgive you.
Right.
I can
Mhm.
still love you, but it's not good for me. Good in.
Mhm.
I love it.
Right.
Mhm.
I love it. Joanna doing a
Yep.
double dutch,
So
y'all.
I
let
know.
me
Go on in. Go on in.
let me just ask Daisha, and I want to go around the table. What would your takeaway be from today's episode that you would share with someone else?
Nice job.
Yeah, that was a
One
good question.
I'm sorry, knock my head up.
experiences.
I gotta pick my head up. I'm sorry. I'm
You
sorry to
got you
interrupt
good
you. I
now?
just
You all
yeah.
right?
I
No.
know, right?
Whew,
Hello?
I'm okay
Right?
now. I'm okay.
Okay, all
Let
right.
me adjust. Okay, good. I'm good.
You good? Okay. So one is that everyone at some part of their life experiences an unhealthy relationship,
Mm-hmm.
but you have to be able to set the boundaries. So talking to other people is very healthy. It can be the people who you do have healthy relationships with, talking to them and getting their perspective, because someone who is in a healthy relationship can come and watch this podcast right now and take away that, okay, maybe I am in an unhealthy relationship. So
Mm,
I think that this here gives different perspectives of what an unhealthy relationship is. Like Tracy said, if it's not good for my soul,
Right.
it's not sitting right with my spirits, then it's not meant for me. And if I'm pouring too much into your cup and you're
mm,
not pouring into
You better
mine,
say it. You better say
this
it.
is not healthy.
That's
We're
Right.
it.
supposed to be, here with each other. So
That's it.
yeah. And that's what I take away from this. Everybody's experience is sometimes a little bit different, and a lot of people's experiences are exactly the same.
Thank you, Daisha.
So
Thank
yeah,
you.
definitely that.
Good answer.
Crystal.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Thank
Well,
you. I
it
was a
was.
little nervous about coming on here. I like this.
yeah, yeah. I
We're
think
glad that you're feeling comfortable. Sorry, Chris.
Oh,
yeah, I'm waiting for everybody to finish.
yeah, you got it. You got it. Go ahead.
So, for me, a healthy versus unhealthy is everything that I said, everything that you said, mental abuse, things that we are raised with, learned behavior and all that stuff shapes what type of relationships we're going to be in. And today, if you cannot bring life into my life,
Amen.
to let you go.
Amen.
Amen. Well said.
Just in a
Amen.
nutshell.
Amen.
Renee.
Yes.
But
Mhm.
thank
Yeah, that
you.
was good.
That
Renee.
was good.
Mhm.
Yes. Thank you, Joanna. Thank you, ladies. I finally can actually say that I understand that I have the right to give myself permission. Right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Right,
Mhm.
ladies? We
Yes.
can give
Yes.
ourselves permission, right?
Mhm.
To say no, to say no
Say
more, to say this ain't
Mhm.
working, to say my cup is empty, you didn't drink it
Mhm.
all, whatever it takes, right? My soul ain't right, whatever. I don't care how I was raised. That don't mean nothing from 1942. I don't care
You
no
better
more.
say it. You better say
What?
that.
I don't care no more. If it's not good for me, then it's just not good for me. And I have to accept that. I think what I take
Mhm.
away is the fact that I know the difference now.
Very
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah,
That's good.
I
That right
know
there. That
the
right there.
difference.
Mhm.
You
That's
got
where
it.
my
that was
needle
good,
is
Renee.
on the record. My
That
needle
right
is
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that.
Yep.
I know the difference
Mhm.
now.
Tracy, any last words?
Ooh, wait a minute. I'm just trying to, just digest a little bit about what just Renee just said. Hold on.
Mm,
Woo. Yeah,
Mhm.
because that's it right there.
Yeah.
right.
And for me, for so many years, I've always, given. I'm giving me now, right?
Mm,
I'm
Mhm.
giving me, and I'm going to eat clean food.
mm,
Okay.
Mhm.
That's
Amen
good.
And
to that.
whatever it is, that is,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anything that comes in my space, it has to be clean,
Mm.
Mhm.
because my soul needs to be fed and fed, with clean food. And so, I am unapologetic about mine.
Mm.
Mhm.
I am, because it's about my sanity,
Yes.
Mhm.
my well-being,
Yes.
and my peace.
Yes.
And that's what I describe as health.
Amen to
Right.
that.
Oh, and one last
Amen.
thing.
Good.
So, Daisha, I think you and I didn't get the memo about the baseball caps and all. I'm sorry. You and I didn't get the memo.
I don't have any. I don't own any.
We didn't get the memo. I'm sorry.
I
Right,
just
next
for just real
Look,
quick.
We'll make
Next
sure we
time y'all
send it
have
out.
to send the group message.
Right,
Next
right.
tonight.
No, actually, this was all spirit led. We just nobody talked
Mm.
about it. Everybody
Nope.
just
That's
keep
how in
going.
tune everybody is.
Yeah.
This is good. Yeah,
It
So,
is.
it's all right.
real
Next time.
quick, yeah, real quick, my takeaway,
Yes, please.
pretty much is please, anybody listening to the show, watching this show, please know there's always ways to find out if you're in an unhealthy relationship. Speak to someone, a teacher, a doctor, anybody, a friend, just anybody. It's
Mhm.
because the more people that we help heal from this, the better the
Right.
world can be. The
Mental
better we
health.
Mhm.
all get along.
Yep.
Because
Mhm.
I'm at the age, like with y'all ladies, where I personally feel, I'm closer to me saying, leaving this earth than I am being on this earth.
Mhm.
So my feelings on your feeling and it's hurting me, we got a problem.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Right.
I have to think of me first.
Right.
Mhm. Life is too short.
Life is way too
Mhm.
short.
Mhm.
So with that said, we
Mental
really
health is real. I just
It
want to
is.
say it. Mental health is essential.
Yes, and people
not
need to get
taboo.
help.
yes.
And people,
So
if you
Amen.
need help, get it.
Yes.
yes. So
Mhm.
I see Renee's rubbing up off on you, Daisha, but we'll talk about that later. Uh,
She's
so
my
with
mama.
So with that said, thank you for watching and listening to Life Lessons for Times Such as Now. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. I don't think I put it in the right order, but like, subscribe, and share. Till next time.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Now,
Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
Daisha.
everyone.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Daisha.
Yes,
This is
Daisha.
good.
Thank
This
Get
is
healthy.
fun. I like this. Yes.
all right.
Yes.